back at it again. Shit. Why you jumping? It's just the hook. Why you stunned? Is it that you shook? Shit.
Okay, let's see how this goes over with Canadians. Because, I'm sure that in general, Canadians are taking this new information in stride. We care about our health as a country. We are willing to do our part so that overall our country can be a healthier, happier, safer place. I'm sure. I'm sure about it. Let's take a look.
What did you buy today?
I bought 6 Busch Light, 6 Bud Light, and I love them, tall boys.
Yeah.
Tall boys, how much would you drink a day?
Well, what day? Regular day, I don't know, maybe a couple beers, depends. Weekends, maybe, 5 beer. 2 drinks a week.
What do you think of that?
Well, that's just not feasible, not in this country. Well, come on, man, 2 drinks a week, what's that going to do for you? I mean, that doesn't even get you through a day.
Damn.
If you're at home, you'll have like 4 beer. That's just 2 more. I mean, I'll have 6. But 4 is a fair number. But there shouldn't even be guidelines anyway. Why are you going to tell me how much I can drink at home?
Well, I guess the idea is, would you be concerned that you're at a higher health risk if you're drinking too much?
No! That's the main point here is why are they
No!
what I can drink at home? What, can I have 2 liters of pop? Can I have 2 liters of pop? Well, what's more healthy? 4 beers or 2 liters of Coca-Cola? Do the math.
So I'm guessing that this information about the new guidelines is going to change your health.
It's hard.
Not even little.
I can't even believe it.
No.
Rock and roll! Oh, wait a minute. You can't handle the truth.
Hey, I mean... Okay. I can't even believe, when I heard that video I was just like, okay, let's just look at this guy because he's funny, but, it's probably not, a real thing. I don't even drink anymore, okay? I'm a total teetotaler, now, and yet I am still what is this nonsense? If I was gonna drink, it wouldn't be less than 2 drinks. And, to be clear, 2 drinks is not necessarily 2 beers. It's normally a particular serving of beer. So, if I remember correctly from my alcohol education class, yes, I took an alcohol education class and none of your damn business. Because Tall Boys is a different amount of alcohol than a bottle of beer, which is a different amount of alcohol than, let's say, a glass of wine. And wine glasses come in different sizes. And then there's Mike's Hard or other types of drinks like that. And then there's mixed drinks. So, and that's why they have servings of alcohol and each one is called a drink, right? So, but I'm 2 drinks? That doesn't seem... So they're saying there's a continuum of risk associated with weekly alcohol use where the risk of harm is 0 drinks per week. Not drinking has benefits such as better health and better sleep. 2 standard drinks or less per week. You are likely to avoid alcohol-related consequences for yourself or others at this level. 3 to 6 standard drinks per week. Your risk of developing several types of cancer, including breast and colon cancer, increases at this level. 7 standard drinks or more per week. Your risk of heart disease or stroke increases significantly at this level. And then each additional standard drink radically increases the risk of alcohol-related consequences. Consuming more than 2 standard drinks per occasion is associated with an increased risk of harm to self and others, including injuries and violence. When pregnant or trying to get pregnant, there is no known safe amount of alcohol use. I'll say about a college level amount, just because of all the accidental, unplanned pregnancies that happen, including many people I knew, even if they were married. There was a lot of binge drinking back in my history. And a lot of people, we were going out and binge drinking, whatever, and people were basically drinking until they found out they were pregnant. That was just what it was, right? Once you find out you're pregnant, stop drinking. Right? Now, I'm not encouraging drinking. I'm just saying, listen, we're Canadians. Dude, we have whole holidays that nobody knows what they're about because our literal mind goes to, yay, don't have to go to work, get to drink for an extra day. Not even lying. And so May 2-4 weekend is an amazing example of this. Don't believe me? Oh, you think it's just me and my drunk friends? Okay, well here, this says City News. Okay, y'all see it, right? It says City News. Okay, let's see what the people down on City News say. Do they know what Victoria Weekend is? And then remember, they get the privilege of someone introducing it as Victoria Day weekend.
Happy Victoria Day!
Happy Victoria Day! Happy Victoria Day! Why do we celebrate Victoria Day? Oh my! I'm not sure. I don't know. It's actually named in honor
Nobody knew.
behind me, Queen Victoria, here at Queen's Park in Toronto, also named in her honor. Victoria Day is meant to be a celebration of her birthday, but you can see on her special day there's very little fanfare. Not many people came to visit. So how much do Canadians really know about Victoria Day?
We don't. Look at all.
Rogers Centre was bustling with activity this afternoon for the Victoria
Look at that.
Day
Look at that show out.
game, so I decided to give a few folks a pop quiz. Why do we celebrate Victoria Day, do you know?
I have no idea. Why do we celebrate?
Isn't it Victoria, like Victoria's Queen Victoria? Queen Victoria's Day, the main day.
You want to take it away? Celebrate the Queen's birthday, right?
Right. Queen Victoria was born.
Notice they had to ask children who are not legal to drink yet or British people to get the right answer. Because we don't care, because we don't actually celebrate the Queen. Nobody even knows who Queen Victoria is at all. Nobody has any idea who she is. Even if they get as far as to say, isn't she British royalty? Like, I'm pretty sure she's a queen, right? I'm pretty sure it's the Queen's birthday, because I'm pretty sure in grade school I knew it was the Queen's birthday. And then there was just like a decade of my life after, I was legal to drink, that, and out of high school and stuff, that I just had no idea. I don't know how I just forgot, but it's because it doesn't matter. We've never celebrated the Queen in our lives, ever. Like, keeping it a buck. We might care about Queen Elizabeth II, and that's because she was, like, the Queen. She's on our money, and a lot of us cared about, like, Princess Diana, because, I don't know, we were alive for it all and everything, and that was just fascinating. But I mean, like, to care? No, right? Because we're just part of the Commonwealth. Like, they're not actually our royalty, right? They're not, like, leaders of Canada. So we don't know.
Born on May 24th, 1819. Hence why many in Ontario sometimes call the May long weekend May 2-4, though some may not realize it. Is it called May 2-4?
Why is it
Ooh, what did she just say?
Not realize it.
No, I never.
Sometimes call the May long weekend May 19.
Celebrate the Queen's birthday, right?
Right. Queen Victoria was born on May 24th, 1819. Hence why many in Ontario sometimes call the May long weekend May 2-4, though some may not realize it. Is it called May 2-4?
Why is it called that?
Like May 2-4. When I was a kid, I think we knew that it was like her birthday was around that time. Like, it must be, that's why they call it that. May 2-4. But we were small children, right? So we didn't know. And then, I don't know, it's just like we dropped all that stuff we used to know as children, right? And then we picked up the new reasons. But let's see what these guys say. Because I don't know. They look like they're a little bit beyond generation millennial, right? They might be Gen Xers. Maybe Gen Xers know. Let's take a look.
Because you have to have 4 6-packs.
No, you have to have one of the 2 4.
See? We don't know.
And also happens to be the one who chose Ottawa as our capital. In Ontario, we've been celebrating Victoria Day since 1845.
Yeah.
It became a national holiday in 1901.
Mm-hmm.
We have great relationships with other countries and people, and it's very important to where we are now.
These days, the holiday is officially held on the Monday before May 25th, and it also celebrates the birthday of the current sovereign, Victoria's great-great-granddaughter, Queen Elizabeth II.
Mm-hmm. Now, we know. Or knew. R.I.P.
Victoria?
Happy Victoria Day to you. Happy Victoria Day to you.
Sorry.
So whether you went up to the cottage,
Nobody
fired up the
knew.
barbecue, or caught a ball game this long weekend, maybe sing a little happy birthday to Queen Victoria of House Hanover. She's who you have to thank for this statutory holiday at Queen's Park. Erica Natividad, City News. Before we get too far, we should first talk about what a standard drink actually is. since what one drink is to me might be very different from what
Okay, see, this is what I was talking about.
When we talk about a standard-sized glass of wine, we don't mean that large glass that can fit an entire bottle. What we do mean is 5 ounces or 142 milliliters of wine, which is a standard drink. What about beer? Is it that keg-sized draft beer that's as big as your head? A standard drink of beer is 12 ounces or 341 mils, which is found in a typical bottle of beer.
Okay, so one of the little itty-bitty bottles, that is one drink. Okay.
1.5 ounces or 43 milliliters.
I think it's a shot, right?
Hard liquor is one standard drink.
One shot.
Let's recap what one standard drink is. 5 ounces or 142 milliliters of wine equals 12 ounces or 341 milliliters of beer, which also equals 1.5 ounces or 43 milliliters of hard liquor. Each of these equals one standard drink. So now that you know what one standard drink is, let's look at how else you can rethink your drinking. To lower your risk of alcohol-related injuries and diseases, follow these low-risk alcohol drinking guidelines. If you are a healthy man, drink no more than 3 standard drinks in one day, and no more than 15 standard drinks in a week. But remember, less is always best. Every week should have at least 2 days without drinking to avoid it becoming a habit.
Yeah, that's not a habit at all. There's no problem with that right there. Like what?
2 standard drinks in a day, and no more than 10 standard drinks in a week. Again, less is always best. Every week should have at least 2 days without drinking to avoid it becoming a habit. Remember, these are maximum amounts to decrease your risk of injury and chronic disease, so less is always best.
And so that is the information I actually learned back in the days. And that was 10 years ago. And so this is from a regional public health authority, right? Learn how health, and so you've got that. Canada's low risk alcohol drinking guidelines were recently created to help Canadian adults who choose to drink alcohol make informed choices about alcohol consumption, minimize associated short and long-term health risks. The guidelines aren't about abstinence, they're about rethinking your drinking to reduce alcohol-related harm. It is important to remember these guidelines are low risk, not no risk. They set limits, not targets. So when, those doctors say, oh, I'm sure this comes out of nowhere. Oh, no, it beyond comes out of nowhere, right? Because anyone who knew what the standards were 10 years ago, right? For them to have changed quite so radically, and literally just a couple months ago, right, they just announced this out of the blue. Like, wait, what? Okay, but what about all of those? Now, and this is what I'm sure some of y'all are thinking as well. But yeah, what some of y'all might be thinking about, right, is, look, and this was just March 9th of 2023, right? This question of, well, isn't red wine actually good for your heart, right? Haven't studies shown, actually, that drinking a glass or 2 of red wine with dinner every night is actually good for your heart, is actually a good habit? Right now, this article does say that you should not uncork a bottle of red wine, start drinking red wine now when you don't drink at all just for the benefits, right? Like, it's not cause and effect. There's a correlation thing, right? But red wine does have a lot of great things, antioxidants, a polyphenol called resveratrol, which I purchased from The Ordinary, put on my skin, which is great for getting rid of dark marks and unevenness and whatever, right? And then, of course, as we know, there's the French paradox, right? And so the French paradox basically just explains that, the French are very well known for drinking approximately, right, 47 liters or 62 bottles of red wine a year. That is way more than the current guidelines for alcohol. I kind of feel like it might be more than the old guidelines for alcohol consumption as well, but I don't know, right? But now, here's the thing, right? So you've got France, right? And that's why they call it the French paradox, because they drink so much red wine and they eat a lot of cheese and other fatty things, breads, croissants, and all of that good stuff, right? And yet, they've got such super duper butter. Don't forget the butter. Ooh, man. I mean, honestly, they have chocolate. they just have really like delectable kind of sinful lives when you think about it, right? High fats, whatever. But they have really, really low rates of heart disease. You know, you can't say, well, I'm sure it's only the red wine. I'm sure there's other factors. The French walk everywhere, for example, right? They do a lot of walking. They do a lot of expositional eating, whereas they sit around and talk and laugh and joke and spend quality time with each other for 17 hours to eat, honestly, not that much food, right? They're not just waxing and wolfing in like, you know, us craven Westerners. So, you know, there's a lot of other aspects and that could be affecting this. But I think overall, right, when you look at, when you take that step back and look at the global aspect of somewhere like France, gives you an idea that everything in balance with one another, right? When you're looking at both the things you're consuming, but also the lifestyle that you live the whole rest of the time. If you're always biking or walking everywhere, right? If you actually have a lot of rest built into also your life. So you're doing a lot of active, but you're also doing a lot of rest and quality taking care of self. If you're doing a lot of time we're spending quality time with other people, a lot of time laughing, joking, camaraderie, right? Sex burns a lot of calories. It's really good for the heart too, right? So, I mean, if you think about all of that, then you got to be like, okay, they overall are doing a lot of things that are positive, not just the drinking. So I do think that it sounds crazy. Like, it's literally, like, I think they might want Canadians to drink more. And I think they want us to rebel. I honestly do, because I can't see why they would suggest anything as ridiculous as 2 drinks per week and definitely don't do it on the same day. And think that was going to, in any way, shape, or form, be helpful. You definitely can't drink that much. That's too much. And people be like, oh yeah, you can't tell me what to do, and then they're going to drink twice as much. Like, that's why I honestly think legit. So, I don't know. But I guess we will see how that plays out. Let me know what y'all think.
Crazy Canadians back at it again. Shit. Why you jumping? It's just the hook. Why you starting? Is it that you should? Shit.